Hi, everyone, and welcome along to the Ergonomically Speaking podcast, the podcast that aims to help you reduce and even eliminate work related discomfort. I'm your host, Neve Pentney of Boyne Ergonomics. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you're able to take away some useful practical advice from this podcast to help you reduce your own risk of discomfort at the workplace or help manage the risks among the people that you might be responsible for. So now that we know why we're here, let's get started. Hello, and welcome along to another episode of the Ergonomically Speaking podcast with myself, Neve Pentney of Boyne Ergonomics. Thank you so much for joining me. I cannot believe that this is the first episode I've recorded since the end of August, and I do apologise for leaving it so long. Life and work has just been incredibly busy, which is great, but it does mean that sometimes these things get put on the back burner a little bit. But I have plenty of ideas for content and podcast episodes to get out to you. So, hoping to get a few episodes out over the next few weeks. What I do want to talk to you about today, though, is things you can do to winterproof your home workstation because it's November, Halloween's over, we're into November, and all the winter weather that comes with it. Although it will be said, I'm based here in Ireland, and at the moment, we're very much still waiting for winter to happen. It's fierce mild. My kids are in t-shirts, my kids are in shorts, and I think the grass needs to be cut again. So unseasonably mild at the moment, but I have no doubt that the winter weather is coming soon. Winter in general does bring about lower light levels, but also glare as the sun is lower in the sky. It brings cold, it brings damp sometimes, and with that comes a little bit of low mood, I find, in a lot of people. So I think now is a good time to have a look at your workstation, have a look at your work area, and make sure it's set up for comfort and productivity during these next kind of few darker, colder months. A few little adjustments that we're going to talk through today will help you stay warm, comfortable, and focused until we come out the other side in the spring. I'm going to share a few little tips with you that you can put into play over the next few days. So, the first thing, like I mentioned, the light level is lower. So, you need to optimize your lighting and be aware that the light level is lower. As daylight hours dwindle, natural light is precious. I know myself. I find here from about 2:30, 3 onwards in the afternoon, I start to put on the extra lights. I'm not getting to 5 o'clock with the natural light. So, what you want to do is maximize your natural light that you have. So, depending on the direction that your work area or your workroom faces, and also how close you are to the window, you might start to experience a bit more glare on your screen or in your eyes because of the low position of the sun in the sky. I know myself, a few weeks ago, I actually had to swap my workstation around from one side of my room to another. And it's not a big room by any means, but just had to reorientate my desk 180 and move it to another side of the room because I was getting a huge amount of glare, even when it wasn't that sunny, in through the window and onto my screens. And it was very, very uncomfortable. So you may have to look at reorienting your desk a little bit so that you're getting the light without the glare on the rare days that we have it, but it's still a problem. You do need natural light though. So try and position your workstation close to your natural light source and make sure that your window, your door, whatever it may be, has blinds or has curtains that you can pull if it does get really glary. If you're not sure if glare is actually an issue for you, because some people think their screen doesn't have glare, but I know that when we do actually have a look at it, there's quite a lot of glare present. The best way to check is to turn your screens off and sit at your desk like you normally would. On a black screen, the glare is going to show up as a bright area. Adjust your blinds, adjust your screen, adjust the orientation of your desk, whatever you need to, until you can get as little glare as possible on that screen. So we are trying to make the best of the natural light, but also trying to avoid the glare that can come with the low sun. And you're also very likely going to have to add additional lighting. Now, I always recommend, regardless of the time of year, that a home workstation has 4 levels of light. That's your natural light, your ceiling light, your ambient light, and a task light. Now, people are confused sometimes about what an ambient light is. Essentially, it's just a floor lamp. It's lighting that lights the area, but is not directly beaming down on your desk. That's your task light. The ambient light, I find, is really important this time of year to help light the work area without beaming direct light onto the desk surface. Direct light on the work surface can cause glare and shadows. So the likes of your floor lamps, I use a ring light. Some people use strip LED lighting, can all work to light the general area around you. If you want to use a desk lamp, make sure that it has an adjustable head and brightness, just so that you can get the best light level for what you're doing. I find some of them can be too bright nearly, and that puts people off using them. Make sure that if you are using any extra light, it doesn't cast shadows across your keyboard or across your paperwork or cause glare. So, one thing you can do is if you are right handed, put your task lamp on the left, you're left handed, put it on the right, because that way it will cast less shadows when you're using your dominant hand. Another great option for this time of year, if you can do it, is an adjustable LED ceiling light. Now, I had one of these in our old house and I found it absolutely brilliant. And it was so good, in fact, that I didn't really need the ambient light or the task light that I had because I could adjust the intensity and the temperature of the colour as I wanted to. And it is on my list. I do plan on putting one into this new office. It's on the end of a very long list of things to be done. At the moment, though, my light levels are my natural light is to my left. I have a ceiling light. I have a ring light that acts as my ambient light. And I have an adjustable LED desk light that I use when needed. So that's your lighting. The reason we want to adjust our lighting is to protect our eyes. Okay, we don't want eye strain. Eye strain can cause a huge amount of problems, not just with the eyes, but also with the muscles as well. You don't want your screen brightness to be so bright that it lights the room. So if you find come into the early, late afternoon, if you leave your work desk and come back, and as you're coming back, it looks like you can nearly see the light beaming out of your screen, you either need to lower the brightness level of your screen or light the work area. And I do recommend lighting the work area. Try and balance the lighting out between your area and your screen. Your screen should not be a light source in your room. That's very bad for your eyes. The next thing you want to do is keep warm, but without overheating. And working in a cold room can be uncomfortable, but overheating is not the solution. It'll make you sleepy, it'll make you tired, it'll make you sluggish. So here's a few things we can do. One is to wear layers. So wear comfortable, warm layers that you can easily take on, take off, and adjust throughout the day. Myself, this time of year, I'm a big fan of putting long sleeve tops under my short sleeve work tops. I am a big fan of cardigans, zip up tops, and hoodies, and also fluffy socks. Um, you will often this time of year spot me on a virtual call wearing a scarf. And it's not really that I'm cold. I absolutely love autumn, winter. I love layering and I love being cozy. But make sure that whatever you have on you, you can easily take off and adjust if you need to. If you're feeling a bit too warm, a bit sleepy, make sure you're comfortable in your clothes as well. Invest in a portable heater. So if your workspace is quite chilly, a small adjustable heater can keep you warm without having to heat the entire house, particularly if you're the only one in it. It doesn't make sense really to light the whole house up if it's just you there. But I do recommend that you avoid fan heaters, those heaters that blow out hot air, because they can really dry out the air in the room. And in turn, that can cause you to get dry eyes, kind of sore, dry nose and throat, which is so uncomfortable. If you do need a heater, I recommend a small oil or halogen heater or any type of heater that essentially emits the heat by radiation as opposed to blowing out the hot air. Um, Hot water bottles are a good option as well, as long as you use them safely. I know there's rechargeable hot water bottles that are out there now. I got one for my dad and my mother-in-law last year for Christmas, and they're both raving about it. So I'm going to put one on my own little Christmas list for this year. I've been dropping a lot of hints, but anything you can use to heat up your work area. But that being said, avoid heavy blankets on your lap. It can restrict your movement. They can make, depending on the blanket and how you're wearing it, it can make it harder to type, harder to use the mouse. A nice cozy blanket I find over the back of the chair can make it more comfortable. Just make sure that it doesn't impact your seated position. On my chair, my own chair here is a mesh back chair, and I have a gorgeous fleece patchwork blanket that I put on the back of my chair when I'm feeling a little bit cold, just to make it a little cozy. Another option that comes into play, I will say, when we're talking about avoiding the heavy blankets on your lap, I'm also a big fan of these big, oversized, fleecy tops with arms and hoods. We call them fluffies in our house. And as I record this, I'm currently wearing a Beetlejuice style black and white striped fluffy. I live in them come the evening time in the winter, and I find them very comfortable to work in because they have sleeves. Doesn't restrict my position at all. The only thing I sometimes have to do is adjust the back of my chair because there's so much fabric in it. But it is another option. With that in mind, it is important to maintain a healthy posture when you're wearing layers. So if you're layering up on the clothes, make sure they don't restrict your seated position. Check your chair settings. You might have to make a couple of little adjustments to keep the chair supported and to keep you positioned correctly. And avoid freezing up by staying mobile. Don't skip your micro breaks. Don't skip your stretches. Set a timer. Get up. Move every 45 minutes. Add in a couple of stretches so your muscles don't get cold. Cold muscles will tense up. You know yourself. I know you felt it in the shoulders. You felt it in the back. Cold muscles tense up. Staying mobile is crucial for preventing stiffness and discomfort. It'll also boost your circulation and help keep the muscles relaxed. We also want to manage humidity levels. So dry indoor air, particularly if the heating on a lot, can lead to dry skin, scratchy little throats, sore eyes, sore nose. So as I said previously, one thing that can help is avoiding the fan heaters. Fan heaters blow out hot air, they dry out the air. However, if this is your only option, if this is all you have to heat your work area, and you're noticing the air is getting dry, throat's getting sore, you can add moisture to the air using a humidifier, or even if you leave a bowl of water near your heater, that as the heater is heating the air around it, it will help to evaporate some of the water into the air, adding a bit of moisture. However, if you are doing this, obviously around an electric heater, please be safe. Keep it away from the electrics. Keep it away from the wires. It is an option if a humidifier is not an option for you. The traditional, even the bowl of water sitting on the radiator can help. And keep hydrated. Keep a water bottle nearby. Drink warm herbal teas, drink decaf coffees, even the odd little hot chocolate, just to stay warm, hydrated, and cozy. My favourite winter drink that I'm going to share with you is cacao with cinnamon and maple syrup, and I make it with coconut milk. And that is my go to warm drink in the morning or in the afternoon if I am feeling the cold. And it never lets me down. Eye strain can be a bit of a problem this time of year. So, ways to prevent it is obviously make sure that your workstation is well lit and you've reduced your screen glare, like we talked about, and you're moving, taking your movement breaks. That will all help your eyes. But so will following the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Even just look out the window. You don't have to leave your desk if you're in the middle of something, but particularly if you can just look around the room, look out the window for 20 seconds, it will help reduce eye strain. It will allow your eye muscles to relax. Take them off this mid-distance screen, refresh your muscles, and you come back and they are ready to go again. Follow the 20-20 rule. Take your breaks, check for glare, and ensure you have enough lighting. Another thing I love to do this time of year is to add a little cozy accessory. So if you find the surface of your table is a little bit cold, You can add a desk mat or even a mouse pad can help your hands warmer. I find my desk actually quite hard and cold, so I have a vinyl desk mat that my keyboard and mouse sit on. And I do find it helpful this time of year and even in the summer. I have been tempted, and I've been known to Google a heated mouse mat. My right hand does get quite cold. Or heated mittens. I've yet to ever buy them. Would love to hear from you if you haven't tried them. I'm a little bit concerned about how safe they might actually be. So I tend to just try and take my breaks and get a warm drink to try and keep my hands warm if I am going through a period of cold hands. Another thing to do is upgrade your keyboard and mouse. Ergonomic keyboards, ergonomic mice can improve your comfort and your circulation, particularly if you do get cold hands or if you're wearing layers that are restricting your movement. If we can get the hands into a better position, we can improve the blood flow, which should help keep them warm. And consider a footrest. A footrest can support your legs, improve circulation, especially if you find you're sitting a bit longer than you should. We all know we should be moving every 45 minutes, but we accept the fact that we are human and things do sometimes get in the way. You can get lovely little plush foam rests that can add a little bit of warmth, a little bit of coziness. Just make sure that your footrest is not so high that it's pushing your knees up higher than your hip. Those little cozy accessories can help. And the last little thing that I do to try and improve how I feel and how my office feels in the winter is I add a little bit of winter decor. So I add some soft lighting. For me, that takes the form of battery powered candles. I don't like the idea of an open flame when I'm working, just because in case I forget about it and an accident happens. But I do like to use battery powered candles. Just makes the room feel really cozy. And I'm a big fan of adding scents to your work area. So in the winter, I like to use essential oils in a diffuser. And particularly, I find if I'm sometimes going through a little cold or feeling a little congested, it can also help. My favourite combinations this time of year, if I'm feeling a bit under weather, is spearmint, lavender, and lemon. That's one. Clove, peppermint, and eucalyptus. They're the two I tend to use if I'm not feeling 100%. And if I just want my area to feel kind of cozy and wintry, I love anything that has a bit of cinnamon, bit of orange, bit of vanilla. But there's loads. Find one that you're feel comfortable with. Some people love the smell of pine. There's Christmas blends you can get, dare I say the C word. But anything that makes you feel comfortable and you enjoying being in your workspace. And add even like a cozy little throw or a seasonal plant on your desk. Little things, but they can really, really boost morale and make your space feel more comfortable. Um, Winter proofing your workstation, it doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be expensive, but making small changes, you can create a warm, comfortable, productive space that will keep you feeling your best through these colder months. Give your workstation the attention it deserves. Make this winter your coziest and most productive yet. That's just a few practical tips I wanted to share with you. Would love to hear your feedback if you have any. As always, my contact information, my social media handles are in the show notes. Give me a follow, send me a message, let me know what you think. I would absolutely love to see what you've done with your workspace. So if you have made a few little winter changes, feel free to post, tag me in it. I'd love to see it. And in the meantime, everybody stay well and I will talk to you soon.